What's up, my friends? Welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're going to be talking about hardware unboxed. Now, I listened to while working. I listened to a podcast that they did talking about the new 50 series cards, and then they get to a section where they're talking about how AMD needs to price the 9070 XT at $500. Now, I don't understand the thinking I do kind of understand the thinking for this, and we're going to get into that, but I don't understand how a dude sitting in Australia with probably access right now to 9070 XT and 9070, he probably already has them, seeing as they've been out for a while. They've probably already provided these to the reviewers, so I'm pretty sure they got them. So it kind of, in my opinion, seems disingenuous that anybody that already has access to a free GPU should be spouting things about how AMD should price these. Now, obviously, is what that does, honestly, is it because it pretty much just signals to everybody out there that, like, oh man, these are trash. They should be $500, and that's pretty much the way people think. Now, there's already a stigma. When it comes to AMD GPUs, people are already like, oh man, those things are trash. They're the Wish version of freaking Nvidia. They're not as good as Nvidia, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. It never freaking ceases to amaze me just how far people try to push AMD down. AMD makes the best gaming CPU on the market right now. AMD has just gained over market share is gaining market share in the AI and the data center space. AMD has 100% been there to compete with these GPUs last generation. Now, if you've been at the channel for a while or you're brand new, I literally switched from Nvidia to AMD, and not one time have I ever thought, well, you know what, man, I wish I had some DLSS to make my games look better, or never once did I think, oh man, I wish I had some more VRAM because I already had enough VRAM. By buying an AMD GPU. That's the thing, guys. Okay, here's the cold, hard freaking truth. Prices of this stuff have gone up. All of these GPUs that we've been buying lately, anything with 16 gigs of VRAM is definitely going to last you a while. So when these companies like AMD or Nvidia, they put when they put the 16 gigs of VRAM on there, 20 gigs, 24 gigs, these are very potent cards. If you're running at 1440p, these cards are going to last you a while. If you're trying to run 4K, maybe you feel like you need to upgrade every generation, but I literally am running a 7900 XTX right now, and I absolutely love it. And for these guys to come out and try to be like, oh man, we need to drop, AMD needs to charge only $500. It's like, dude, I literally just paid $1,200 to get a 5070 Ti. You're trying to tell me that AMD should take that much of a freaking cut when clearly there's people out there that will pay the money to buy these Nvidia GPUs. So, I mean, look at the pricing of them. They're all $900. And yes, I did see your little comment, and this is what sparked this video, is because I saw your comment right here. It says, as expected, a lot of comments on last night's podcast thought it was outrageous. We suggested 9070 XT should be $550 max. The reasoning, the 5070 Ti is actually $900, not $750. I heard their argument that, like, oh yeah, Nvidia could just drop the price to $750 at any time. You're right. And then AMD could respond. They could be like, all right, fine, we'll drop it down to $650. Why should AMD always be expected to leave money on the table is what I don't understand. Now, these guys they've been doing this for a long time. They get access to this stuff before we can even buy it. And in some cases, before anybody can buy it. Like, you can't even buy, it's almost impossible to buy 50 series GPUs right now. And these guys that have gotten, what did they say in the last video? They got like, what, 7 5090s? They got 7 5090s? Tell me these guys are not out of touch. Anybody that's getting free 90 series cards from Nvidia, I literally feel like these guys are out of touch. If you've got the best, and this is why I've never bought a 90 series card, even though I could do it. I don't want to be out of touch. I already feel like I'm getting kind of out of touch just running a 7900 XTX, because the majority of the gamers that want to know about this stuff, man, they're Some of them maybe can only afford like a 60 series card. Maybe they are getting a 7600 XT. And then we've got us with our Halo products preaching down to them, you know, and I get it, man. People watching my channel, they're like, damn, dude, I like Frog. He's a cool freaking dude, man. I want to have the same GPU as him. That's why I invest in Nvidia too, guys. I love AMD. I think it's absolutely incredible, and it will 100% blow your fucking socks off. It will. Like, it literally blew my socks off. It puts a smile on my face every single time I use it. I haven't been let down by AMD. I've got a 4070 Super right now, okay? I hook it up to my 4K OLED, and I get flicker. And you know, it's crazy. Like, I can literally probably hook any HDMI 2.1 cable up to my freaking AMD and it works. It's so finicky on the Nvidia side sometimes, guys. Like the drivers. I mean, if I set path tracing on Cyberpunk 2077, if I'm in there doing a video and I set up path tracing and I get out of the game and I try to get back in, instantly crashes this PC over and over and over again. I literally have to go into the Nvidia app and optimize the game to even get back into it. Like, that is so annoying. There's just little stupid things like that are annoying. And then you look at all of the stuff like Nvidia's 5090 cards burning up right now. They're like losing performance. Like, some of them are losing performance, legitimate losing performance. You've got freaking a paper launch that like nobody can buy any of these cards. Then you got pricing. They come out with fake pricing and say, oh yeah, these are the prices for these. And then boom, instantly they're significantly higher than what the advertised price is. And then you can't even buy them. You can't even buy the stock basic freaking cards, period. Like, I tried to get a 5080. I was already like, I'm not even trying for a 5090. So I tried to get a 5080 at launch. No luck. Couldn't even find one. Couldn't get one. They were sold out freaking immediately. I could not get one at Best Buy. And then I was like, what the freak? And it's like, it's a month later and I was still trying to get one up until I finally got a 5070 Ti. And the only reason I got one is because Onyx in the community sent me a freaking listing over at Newegg. It's a bundle deal. I was being a little facetious when I said I paid scalper prices for it, but no, I still paid $939 for an Asus Prime and and then I had to buy a power supply, which kind of worked out nicely because I bought that pre-built, and yeah, dude, I absolutely want a name brand better PSU. It's got some knockoff PSU in there, so yeah, absolutely. When I was like, cool, I'd buy it. Dude, I probably would have bought it if it came with another OLED monitor. I still would have bought it. So that's the thing. But here's the difference between us, guys. I'm gonna more than make my money back purchasing that GPU. I'm gonna purchase that GPU. Obviously, I'm gonna sell off the 4070 Super. That's gonna give me some of that money back. Like, I'm not gonna be upside down on it. Like, I'm gonna be able to make my money back. I'm gonna be able to create the content. I'm gonna be able to get the views, whatever. So it's kind of worth it to me. Plus, I get to enjoy 4080 Super power level, which I've already had and I'm very happy with. I think it's incredible. And that's the thing, guys. That's just what everybody doesn't understand. None of these GPUs have even graduated to a new freaking power level except for 5090 and 5080 to some extent, but that's like what, 8 to 12% better than a 7900 XTX. So yes, these cards are still relevant. You do not necessarily need to go buy these. Oh, another thing is Nvidia's getting rid of support for physics 32-bit on your freaking 50 series cards. So yes, there's a lot of reasons that Nvidia should probably, like, you know, or a lot of reasons that maybe AMD should consider a lower price. Why though? Why should they leave? These cards are going to sell very well. They're going to come out. The ridiculous shortages are probably going to, I mean, they're going to dry up pretty quickly, right? When those 9070 XT and XT or 9070 launch, obviously Nvidia is going to flood the market with a bunch of cards. And then everybody, they're just building up that pent up freaking, oh my gosh, I wanted to buy a card so bad, that they're going to flood the market. There's going to be plenty of stock out there when the 9070 XT launches. So yeah, it is going to be an interesting launch, but I do think that AMD 100% should stick to their guns. I know that, like, my advice is probably as far away from everybody else out there, but they overhype AMD. we've watched it this whole generation. They overhype AMD. They overstate. They go with these rumors of like, oh yeah, this thing's going to be like this much power and it's going to be so good and it's going to be $500. They automatically, you guys got to understand, dude, they're automatically trying to back AMD into a corner to try to give them that. Because guess what? I can already see that Steve or whatever from Hardware Unboxed, I can already see the wheels turning in his head. He's like, you can already see it. He's like, yeah, dude, I can review the AMD products and be like, gosh, dang it. They always miss a chance to miss a chance. If it would have just been what I told them to price it, then it would be fine. Like they would sell out. And no, see, that's the thing. This guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. To be completely honest with you, the real thing is the stigma surrounding AMD. People think it's trash. Like people automatically think AMD's trash. They do. And it's not only that, it's literally the freaking peer pressure. How society would treat you if you buy an AMD GPU. They're going to look at you weird. They're going to sneer and they're like, ah, man, you should just look at the way Nvidia guys act in the comment section. I mean, the AMD dudes are not any better. I mean, it's like they can go tit for tat, but just look at how downright cruel and angry that like Nvidia guys can get. Now you can say, I mean, I guess you could say that, oh man, it's just the way you do your content, Frog. No, I've seen this over on Twitter without even saying anything to anybody. I've literally seen Nvidia guys come in and just PlayStation fanboy all over people. I've seen it, man. It's a cult. It really is like a cult mindset when it comes to Nvidia. And anything different than that or anything you try to do aside from that, yeah, automatically you just, it's almost like you're tainted if you go with AMD. But hey man, I'm a grown ass man. I like AMD, so I'm going to promote AMD on this channel. I like Nvidia too. It's like today is like the first day I was like, oh my gosh, I finally seen what DLSS is. DLSS is good. Yeah, absolutely. AMD is going to have a freaking hard time, but I guarantee it. If AMD, my suggestion to AMD to counter Mr. Hardware Unboxed, because it's not fair for me to call him out and then not come up with my own solution. AMD needs to charge $699, $750 for XT. They have to. Like they can't just be leaving that money on the table. Nvidia has already basically set that bottom price for them. We see the other cards selling for about $900. They need to do that. Yes, Nvidia can 100% come out with some 9070 or some 5070 Ti's that are actually at MSRP. Cool. That's some good competition. We'd have to see that. But AMD also needs to keep with what has made them very special and what's helping them build that foundation is they need to launch FSR 4 on the 7000 series cards immediately, as fast as possible, like maybe even before RDNA 4 launches. They have to do that. They have to make that work. That would 100%, instead of trying to make people feel like, oh man, I got to upgrade to get the new FSR 4, they should automatically be, that should have been their first thing is like, okay, we need this to work on 7000 series RDNA 3, and we need to make it better on RDNA 4. That's their mindset. That should have been their mindset. Now maybe it is. Maybe I'm just getting ahead of myself. I don't know. I don't work for AMD, but that there would guarantee that they would have already like just that upgrade for your 7000 series cards. Because we all know that upscalers are starting to become very popular and people are really starting to care about those. That alone right there, just bringing FSR 4 FSR 4 to freaking 7000 series cards, that would make gamers happy. Then that would give us, and that would give everybody else out there a reason to talk about AMD more, because they don't talk about AMD unless it's something negative. They review the card and then you don't ever see them again. They're right there in the bar graphs under all the Nvidia stuff. Always. That's it. Look how many videos we've seen of 50 series cards from each content creator. Go through, find your best good favorite content creator. Count every single freaking Nvidia video they do. And then when the AMD 9070 XT launches, I mean, this is kind of skewed, obviously, because FSR 4 is going to get more coverage. but it might not. FSR3 didn't get a lot of coverage. They came out and it was just like, oh, they did their couple videos and then boom, right back over to Nvidia and like don't even do anything. They don't talk about AMD enough. But I'll tell you, you know, and another thing for AMD, start sending content creators that are passionate and happy and excited to use your products. Make sure they have what they need to show your products off. Seriously, I know it'd be a little bit of money or whatever, but do that. Do that. Make sure you get that out there. Make sure that you start taking care of those people. But as for me, like I've already, like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I just hope I can get one on launch without having to go through all the freaking shenanigans that I do with Nvidia. I really just hope I can go to my local Best Buy, pick it up, come home, put it in my PC, and start promoting. Because I sincerely do like AMD. I think it's incredible. And when I get the 5070 Ti and I'm running that next to a 9070 XT, and we'll see like the performance and we'll see the experience and we'll talk about it. Man, we're gonna have so much fun on this channel over the next couple of years. But yeah, as soon as Hardware Unboxed or these other tech YouTubers start a GPU business and take massive market share from Nvidia, then I'll take what they say seriously. As for right now, I'm gonna leave it up to AMD to do what AMD does best. And then I'll buy the card and I'll test it. I'll review it. I will see, hey man, is this as good as my 5070 Ti experience? And that's what we'll base it on. 5070 Ti will set the baseline. 9070 XT, we'll see how close it gets. If it's close enough or beats it, and I mean, even if it just beats it in rasterization, that to me is worth paying the same price as an Nvidia GPU. If I'm gonna pay $939 for a Nvidia GPU, and I only gotta pay $750 for an AMD GPU, and that's a gooder GPU, yeah, I'm not opposed to AMD only charging $100 less than Nvidia. That's just because I've bought plenty of AMD cards and I absolutely love the experience, and I think there is more than enough there for AMD to deserve that money, to deserve that. So yeah, guys, that's my 2 cents on it. I like Hardware Unboxed. Don't get me wrong. I think they're great, and I do like the way that they do the reviews and stuff. But at a point when you got a dude coming out and being like, man, I'm so sick and tired of having to review GPUs, and it's like, then quit, bro. Then freaking quit doing it, because, well, I mean, like, you can't. That's your job. That's literally your job. They come out every 2 years, and really, you're already tired of it, bro? No. Here's the thing. You guys have shilled Nvidia shit so much that Nvidia has literally, like, Nvidia is the new honey for you guys. Nvidia is going to be your downfall because you guys shill the shit out of it, and Nvidia is hurting their customers right now. They are destroying life for gamers by overcharging them. It's bad, and this is going to be your guys' new honey. You watch. People are getting sick of it. AMD's going to come out with a 9070 XT, and it's going to be good enough. It's going to be good enough, and people are going to actually start asking, is AMD good enough? And they're going to have that AI upscaler, and it's going to look just fine. It's going to be just fine. And people are going to start to look. And you guys have shilled Nvidia so damn much. DLSS, DLSS, DLSS. That now you're going to have to live with that, man. Now you're going to have to live with that. And now when you guys get your free 5090s, and you got regular gamers just like me looking at you while you're up there with your nose up in the air talking about how DLSS this, getting everybody all hyped up. And most gamers are like, dude, we can't afford DLSS. We're fucking broke. We don't have any money. We don't get free 5090s. Like, who gives a shit about DLSS when we can barely get by? Yeah, bro. That's the sentiment in the PC market right now. People are pissed. People are so irritated with this stuff that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And shit, like, I'm no better, and I'm kind of right there myself, you know? I'm out there wasting money buying all this shit when people would probably just rather me cover a B580. To be completely honest with you, they would probably rather watch that. So, all right, man, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions or comments or anything about how I just went after Hardware Unboxed, please let me know, man. Please let me know. I'm just giving you my 2 cents on the thing because I don't agree with the way they're going to AMD. I don't. I think it's ridiculous, especially if they already have access to 9070 XT. So, all right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.